tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to talk about all that Japanese craziness.
That's 100% right. Everything in this episode, yes. Everything in this episode is, in fact, from TGS, apart from one little tidbit. So this is the official TGS crazy episode. Now, by TGS crazy episode, we pretty much mean...
we skimmed the headlines. There's some stuff.
Yeah, the AAA stuff. I'm sure there was some, like, hidden indie...
Hidden gems
at the show and these sorts of things, which A, wasn't at the show, obviously, and then also B, whatever sites were covering the hidden indie gems were probably being written in Japanese, and I not written up by IGN or something where, you know, like IGN and what the big outlets are just covering the big stuff. So
what do they expect us to do? Hit Google Translate? Crazy.
I mean, you got to point me to the websites first. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure there'll be some outlets out there that are like smaller outlets that will probably covering other stuff. But yeah, there was some stuff happening though. So that's what the majority of this episode will be about, of course. In the trophy cabinet, bronze trophy. Yakuza 7's been crazy. I could nearly just say everything's been crazy because, you know.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll change it. A silver trophy. Last of Us 2's been crazy. A gold trophy. Death Stranding's been crazy. Who'd have thunk it? And we hit a platinum with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Been crazy.
How would you describe it?
Been crazy. So let's just jump into the non-TGS thing first here. So Jeff Keighley tweeted out on Twitter, and here we go. See you later this month at Naughty Dog, at Neil Druckmann. And it was a picture of The Last of Us Part 2 media event. Says it's happening American time, 24th of 9th. In Los Angeles, California, so some sort of invite he got sent. Obviously, I remember when I saw this as well, I was like, is he allowed to tweet this out? Is Jeff Keighley just like, I'm above all things? Like,
he's Jeff Keighley. He's allowed to do what he wants.
Yeah, because did you see anyone else like tweet out their pictures of this? Because you know, other people in the media would have got it, but was anyone else following up with their own screenshots?
Or maybe he's like hosting it or something. I don't know.
I mean. Yeah, I guess maybe that could be a possibility. But yeah, so we don't know anything at the moment, of course, apart from the fact that there's presumably it's happening. Some Last of Us thing is happening. Whether or not the event will be streamed,
broadcast,
put up later on YouTube, will simply be a trailer drop, a gameplay demo drop. Will that gameplay be what we saw at what people saw at the GameStop managers meeting thing that we talked about a couple weeks ago? What all of it will be, but I would guess that this is probably, it has to be release date time. I swear to God, if they don't fucking put the release date, or at least the release window, that's all I want, right? If you're not going to put an official date and you don't want to lock it down to that, you know, small of a section of time, fair enough. But for the love of God, can we at least have some sort of range? Can I at least know, oh, it's probably coming out, like, is it coming out at the start of the year that has been long rumored, you know, that February date or whatever? Like, even before What's His Fuck got on his whole thing, it was a whole rumor because of Jason Schreier and stuff. So can I at least know if it's coming out start of next year, or if they put it in whatever the American season is closer, what do they have it in here? Summer section, I guess, like summer would be closer to, or spring or something like that, I guess, like towards the end of America next year.
Yeah, winter's the end of this year over there.
Yes.
So spring.
Yeah, so spring or something like that. So if they start saying like something like that, then you're like, oh, so it's going to be closer to a PS5 launch title at that stage. You know what I mean? So if they put some sort of section of time on it, we can start kind of guesstimating what's happening. Because if they announce it's coming, you know, winter or early next year, you're like, cool, no worries. It's probably around that February date. If they announce it's coming later next year, it'll be like, oh, like if it's going to come out a month before the PS5, like that's a bit weird, but okay. So we can start speculating on things there. But yeah, I'm excited nonetheless, of course. So, and another weird thing that's going to be happening is because this is happening, the event's going to be happening, like I don't know, time-wise, it might work out like next Tuesday, our time, next Tuesday night or something like that, or like Wednesday early morning, you know what I mean? which is
so
always
probably Wednesday early morning.
Wednesday morning, which is of course going to make it really awkward for this show.
Oh, what a surprise!
As per always. So yeah, it's like I don't know. We'll have to see what we do about it then. Maybe I'll just come back.
Be interested also because it's so just before Outbreak Day, which is like the big. The celebration of when the outbreak started in Last of Us, I guess not celebration, but
commemorate.
It's a day. Yeah. I think probably what they're going to do is going to be like gameplay demos and that kind of thing at the media event. On Outbreak Day, they'll show the proper trailer or whatever, release date, and pre-orders will be open. That's my guess.
Well, when's Outbreak? Outbreak Day's like what, a couple days
LA
later?
Collector's Edition.
Well, probably, yeah. When's Outbreak Day? Like a couple days later, isn't it?
The 26th.
Yeah, so literally a couple
2
days later. Well, then they could just do a whole couple days of non-stop coverage. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So they can announce everything and then pre-orders open.
Yeah, a couple days later. So it's kind of like when Star Wars drops, like when they do the next trailer or something, which will presumably be on like Good Morning America or some shit like that in October or something. It'll be like when they do that and then the trailer will drop and they'll announce that tickets for sales, they always do this, tickets for sales go live like 2 days later or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess it's a similar situation to that. And then also following up on this, the Six Axis wrote this. It says, although Sony blah blah blah, they cover how the Last of Us media event will be taking place on September 24th in Los Angeles. Blah 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 blah. And it says, which brings us to the latest news, which comes from respected analyst at Nico Partners and rather witty chap on Twitter, Daniel Ahmed, responding to a post on Reset Era about Last of Us Part 2 event. He simply states, quote, "This isn't the only Sony event that week." So, here's the thing. Rumors, as always, I tend not to try to steer clear of them unless I think there's a bit of truth to it. The person saying this is someone I would trust to have, that has been right about things in the past and isn't, someone I put a bit of faith in for getting their rumors and speculation and these sorts of things right. So if Sony's doing more than one event next week, what is another event they could announce out of left field that would actually work? Some people I've seen in the comment section and stuff being like, PS5 release. It's not that. It's not going to be a fucking PS5
Don't be
release.
crazy.
You know what it probably will be, if anything, is just another state of play.
Yeah.
That's the most likely of answers, is if they're going to do another event with only a couple days notice. And let's pause this once again.
Yeah.
Because every time they do one of these state of plays, they always fucking announce them at like 11 p.m. on like a Monday night or something, you know?
So first thing of Monday morning in the US.
Yes. So if they're going to do it, it means next week, let's say we record this, do what we need to do. I've got it. I'm editing it. Maybe I'm uploading it by this time or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that Last of Us thing's happening in like 24 hours. And then Sony will post like, oh, and a state of play is happening like the day after that or like on the Friday or something like that. I'm like, okay, cool. But I kind of like this idea because it means, you know how everyone complains about the state of play? Oh, where's the Last of Us? Every single one, people are like, where's Last of Us? They're looking for the release date. They're looking for a Last of Us thing. If they get Last of Us out of the way in its own thing, own event, then people watching the state of play can shut the fuck up, basically. Because it would be a good time for state of play because we have Concrete Genie coming up in just a couple weeks. So, and that is a game, although not obviously AAA big massive as Death Stranding, it is one of Sony's first party new IP releases, right? Smaller game, sure, whatever, but it is one of their exclusive games coming out this year. And that's coming out in a couple weeks. And it's a game that I guess the majority of people still probably don't know of or care about or anything like that. So I think that a state of play to show off that game and some other things, of course, but I think a state of play to primarily show off Concrete Genie at this stage would be something that makes sense. So that's what I would expect. A state of play, Concrete Genie being the main focus.
I don't know. I feel like the last state of play, Concrete Genie was a big focus, so I don't know if they want to do that again. Even though it is coming out pretty soon. Maybe like another story trailer or something a bit different. I would expect, again, Last of Us trailer, or just replay the same one again, would be tacked on the end just to get people interested. And then probably a lot of VR stuff, I would imagine.
Oh, can they do the VR thing
Iron
again?
Man VR.
Yeah, like I'm happy to see another VR one. You know, and I mean, we're both happy to see it as people who have PSVRs, obviously. But you know, the last one people got super annoyed about and whatever else. Like,
I mean, as long as they just bunch them all together and not like take up the entire show.
Well, if they're going to do the VR one, I think they have to start calling the State of Plays different names, like Nintendo does. Nintendo Directs different names. They need to call it State of Play, like PSVR. You know what I mean?
State of VR Play.
State of VR Play, yeah. Something like that. I think the moment they start, at least from the outset, being like, this is all about VR, then anyone who goes in and complains about it, you got nothing to stand on at that stage. You know, it was all, they said VR games. What did you fucking want? Oh, yeah, but they might have still showed The Last of Us. They fucking just had an event. Like, shut up.
But yeah. I don't know if we'll get one. I don't think so.
No, you don't. No. You reckon the? So
I'm saying that because if I say I don't think it's going to happen, it'll probably happen.
So you're saying that the rumor from our good friend over there is wrong. You reckon? No faith.
No. Well, maybe it was at the time, but then Sony changed their mind because they saw everybody was expecting it. Mind games, man.
Maybe that'll just be the week.
Are they even going to do a Last of Us event next week?
I mean, there is a picture. Jeff Keighley tweeted it. All right, let's move on from all this stuff. Let's get into this TGS nonsense that's happening. So first thing, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot got a new trailer. They also showed off that the entirety of the Boo saga will be in the game, which means it's the full... I mean, we kind of knew this anyway. Expected this. The Dragon Ball Z, they kept being like, it's going to do the whole thing, and now they've confirmed that yes, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the game, will in fact be the entirety of Dragon Ball Z. You know, you're going to play through the whole thing. The only thing I don't like, they released a teaser. It's very short, looks pretty, cool. Everyone looks great. That's whatever. It looks like the anime. But once again, show me, and there's some screenshots you can find of like general moment-to-moment gameplay, which is what I've been saying for a while I want to see. You know, I've seen pictures of Goku driving around in a car, right? Little symbols of what's up there, like getting around the world, side mission type stuff. You can see icons on the screen, whatever else. But every single one of these trailers, as we talked about last time, I'm just like, it just looks like any other Dragon Ball Z game. You know, this could be one of the fighting games. If it's an RPG... Can you focus on that so it separates it and interests people who may like Dragon Ball Z but give two shits about the fighting games because they're not into those sorts of things? But are like the only reason I'm interested in this one is because it's an RPG game, right? I don't care.
Show us some menus.
For real though, show me some goddamn menus.
Show me some stats.
Yes, I want to see all the fucking stats. I want to see stuff. And then another thing they announced, which was absolutely bonkers and sold out in, I'm pretty sure, 5 seconds, was this collector's edition, which has like a huge diorama that's part of it, a steelbook, a game artwork book, world map and stuff. Pretty fucking sweet, to be honest. Now, it was like 330 or 350 Australian dollars for this.
Yep.
But pretty fucking sweet.
Pretty sweet. Unfortunate that they only made like 6
per country.
Only 6 were available for Australia.
Yeah. So to those lucky 6 people out there,
so those lucky resellers, you're gonna make a fortune.
You know damn well that's who got it as well. Those fucking resellers.
I mean, even if you bought it proper, you're like, I could probably sell this for 10 times how much I paid for it.
Do you reckon you would?
It'd be pretty tempting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
It's like those stupid Lion King things that were around this past winter?
The
promotion thing.
Woolworths things, yeah.
They were the ones that were going for like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, the furry ones?
Yeah, if you got one of those, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, I'd sell that. But I mean, I don't know. If I got this, I might have been like, I just kind of like it. I kind of want to just keep it. You know.
But if you know it's like worth multiple times what you originally paid for,
I suppose it depends. It depends. If it's only an extra 100 or so or whatever, and I really, or 200 even or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, but what if 5 years from now I'm like, oh, that would have looked real nice here. I wish I still had that.
I mean, But then what if the game comes out and it's bad? Then the value goes. Well, I guess it's a Dragon Ball Z statue, so.
Yeah, I don't think that affects anything.
No, that's true.
I think for example, just a complete side note, since it just brought up random collector's editions and like disassociation from the game.
Yeah.
So I got this teddy bear, which I'm holding up on camera for the video version people, I guess. But I got this teddy bear. It came with the Division 2 collector's edition. It's a little keyring bag teddy bear. And I keep it on my desk because it's quite cute and I like it, right? Now, without knowing, you can just look at this and it just looks like a teddy bear, you know? You have no idea it comes from the Division 2. Now, its relevance to the game is that in the Division, you can choose different items. This teddy bear is, of course, one you can, if you get the collector's edition, you can hook onto your bag. And throughout the game, you can find other items that you can hook onto the back of your backpack during the game. That's its relevance. However, my mother has seen this and she wants it.
Oh, okay.
To the point where she's legit said, if you can find another one, I want it. And I said, it's from a video game where you go around in a post-apocalyptic world and shoot people. She's like, I don't care. I want it. It's cute. I want to put it on my bag. She's like, I can't find anything like that, Dylan. And then I'm like, but surely you can. And I looked up, I went on Amazon. I went on Googled around. I'm like, like teddy bear, bag, key rings, all these sorts of things. And she is right. Most of the ones you can find are like baby or like really young children looking one. So the thing about this teddy bear, as much as you'd be like, what's the difference, Dylan? It doesn't particularly look like a child's teddy bear. There is a difference. There is a line between like, this is a baby's item.
Ubisoft, if you can help us out, that'd be really, really grateful. Dylan's mum would really appreciate it.
I mean, yeah, like if randomly someone from Ubisoft is listening and they're like,
we've got like a whole box of these.
We got a whole box of these fucking collections.
We thought they were going to be a big thing. This random item that was in the game, we thought that we were going to sell them for gangbusters.
We can help out your mum, Dylan. But reach out at VivaLadil on Twitter, VIVALADIL. You can if you can hook me up with another one of these damn teddy bears. Because look, sorry, mum, but I got the collector's edition for this teddy bear. Basically, I want to keep it.
Oh.
There. Anyway, side note. Dragon Ball Z. What was he saying? Nothing. I got anything. You got anything else to say about Dragon Ball Z? I forgot where it was.
No, looks fine. Again, want to see more, I guess. When's it coming out? Next year sometime?
January or February or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I just closed the thing. I'm excited to see more. I like what I've seen. Can't wait to see more. Next thing is Yakuza 7, also known as Yakuza...
Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon, yeah. Which, of course, is upset some people recently when it was revealed that it is going to be a... Turn-based game instead of a straight-up action brawler, I guess. But there was always, like, RPG elements to these games, surely. Like, semi. Like, RPG action-type ones. So they showed off this at the event. And the number one clip, I watched the clip I watched it like 2 or 3 times because it's made me laugh every single time. Someone tweeted out, Yakuza 7 summons are exactly what you'd expect them to be. And it has the main character fucking, I don't know, dial something on their phone. At which point, from above in the clouds, these fucking crayfish or whatever, like fucking lobsters, yeah. These fucking lobsters like rain down. Lands on this dude's shoulder, and then they end up attacking. So the lobster is the summon. Yep.
Yeah.
The most over the top.
On, like, powers up.
Yep.
Then snaps him right in the nose.
The most over the top fucking ridiculous summon that perfectly fits into the Yakuza, the favorite thing to me is like, because like I've skipped through or skimmed or watched a lot of these PlayStation TGS live stream stuff, and I was skimming through the Yakuza one where this video is from, and they have 2 of the the leads from the development team talking there, and obviously I can't understand them, but it still comes across that when this is happening, they look super serious, but you can tell they're like, this is funny shit. They look serious, but you can tell there's a sly little bit of like,
yeah,
this is funny. Like,
you're hilarious.
They're trying to act super cool at all times, but they just, as far as I'm aware, they try to act super cool because like we're making a Yakuza game. Yakuza's some serious fucking shit.
Yakuza serious.
Yakuza series is serious shit, and they try and look cool and calm. But I tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, it's all a fucking play, and in their mind, they're making these games as fucking comedies.
Yeah. I wonder how the actual Yakuza feels about these games. They're not taking us freaking seriously.
Yeah, maybe,
We're dangerous people.
Very dangerous. We're just not taking it seriously. Other things they revealed about Yakuza was like some go-kart fucking mini.
There's a ton of mini games in these. It's crazy. But yeah, it looked like they ripped off Mario Kart pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And
just even the interface, it looks almost identical.
It looks pretty good. I was like, I'd play this.
I think it's just missing the weapons, that's all.
Yeah. The RPG turn-based combat itself looked good, fine, from what I could tell. It was like this. Honestly, I know I was kind of joking about it at one stage on either Hero Arcade Couch. I don't actually remember when this was first announced. But I was like, I'm legit, the more I see of this, I'm not like, oh, I must rush out to play this. But the more I see of this, the more I'm like, I kind of do want to play the Weird Lobster game. Like...
Yeah, same. I saw the story trailer. It's like a pretty bland story, but it seems serviceable. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I'm into it. So, and like I said last time, it seems like a perfect entry point because it's
new character.
You don't need any history.
Yeah, and I liked how they explained why, because they were basically like, yeah, we know we're going to piss off some people. But we've made the same game. Well, not the exact same game, but they're like, we've made the same game the same way for like 6, 7 tiles, whatever, with all the.
And then we remade those.
Yeah, and then we remade those. So they're being pretty open with this. They're like, we want to try something different, and if you all hate it, then I guess we go back after this. But just give us a shot, and this is what we're trying to do now. And they're like explaining all their changes, like, well, because in the old other ones, obviously just plays that one character, which I don't know the name of, but the main character in this one, they're like, oh, you're playing a less like a up and comer or whatever, and to be a bit more realistic, they're like, to fit the RPG theme, you've got to have like a group with you at all times, because you're not just like that the one dude who can magically go around and kick the ass of like thousands of people in by himself. They're like, bit unrealistic in our game where you summon lobsters, but we're gonna have you have
realism is important.
Yeah, we're gonna have you have a group of friends for this one, because you're not quite as tough as that person to kick all their ass and stuff. So I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to
I don't know. I think that you can change jobs, so you have different fighting styles, or was you just change outfits? Like he turns into a freaking breakdancer and breakdance fights a bunch of dudes.
Yeah,
freaking crazy.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, South Park, yeah, the funniest RPG game. No, get fucked. Yakuza Like a Dragon is. Number one RPG comedy coming out soon. So next thing we got was the next two things to go over probably are the biggest TGS things. So I got Final Fantasy, and then we'll go over Death Stranding, obviously. So starting with Final Fantasy, the first thing they put out was, and they put this out the night before TGS started, was a proper trailer for it. And this is thus far my favorite Final Fantasy remake trailer, because up until this point I've been semi-excited. Put out there, Final Fantasy VII, definitely one of my favorite games of all time. But the idea of them remaking it to me has always been like, meh. I think I spoke about this. I was like, bit worried a lot of what I like so much about it would get lost in translation, I guess, which I would have been fine with. I would have been like, because I'm not one of those people who's like, you ruined my childhood by remaking. I'll just be like, if I didn't like it, I would have just, whatever, doesn't exist. However, watching this one, as much as it looks like a completely new game, there is so much in here that's not in the original or has changed and whatever else. I'm really starting to see a much bigger picture of the world and the version of Final Fantasy VII they're trying to do with this remake here. Because another thing that was always trying to go over is like how Midgar in the original game is like the first couple hours and then you're off into the open world. And it was always like, well, how are they just making part one just in that section of the world? But seeing all of the shit that's happening in this one, all the characters they're changing around, putting into places they weren't before, whatever else. Obviously, don't want to go too big in the spoilers, but I'm really starting to see how they can actually turn Midgar, which is a fucking massive city, into its own game. It's starting to make a lot more sense to me. And then in this trailer, also we start to see new characters we haven't seen before. There's literally a new character in it, so I'm like, who the fuck's that? Like, they're new, so they're making new characters. We're starting to see a lot of characters that we hadn't seen before in any of the trailers from the original game shop. The Turks in this, which are a group of
people from Turkey.
Yeah, no. I think it was always a rumor that it was like, because they call them that in the game, but it's always like a slander thing for whatever reason. And there was always like a rumor I remember reading back in the day that it was like a lost in translation thing, where in the original release they like were trying to call them like jerks, and then when the English translation come over, someone fucked it up and just changed it to T. It was like one of those video game fables, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but they're kind of like FBI, I guess, for like the government in Midgar kind of thing. Like they're the high level go after what the president of Shinra kind of the president of Midgar kind of sends them to go after, and these sorts of things. And that for whatever reasons, without spoilers, they're hunting down Aerith in the game, and of course Cloud has to protect her and these sorts of things. So you see them in this one, you see a lot more Teether and stuff. But we also start to see a lot more stuff that is outside of what we've seen a million times over, which is a lot of that same fight sequence from inside the bunker thing there at the start of the game, because that's what they've showed off the most times, fighting the giant spider thing. And, you know, they've showed off that mission so many fucking times at this point from different angles and from the start to the finish and whatever else. This one, you're starting to see inside Aerith's church when the dudes come to find him. You then see a battle between Reno, and you see a battle between a couple other people outside. You get to see Aerith fighting. There's a really beautiful shot of this where Aerith is like these fucking fireworks happening in the background. They show off a scene that everyone was worried they were going to not include in the game, which they are, it seems, but I'm presuming they're going to change a lot because it's one of the more like questionable things from the original game, which was, without heavy spoilers, basically this sequence where Cloud got forced into like dressing up as a female to break into a place, and then they did some rather weird jokes with that context inside and whatever else, but they hint that here. And also, I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed, but this character they show here who's like yelling, who's running this brothel basically where Cloud is supposed to sneak into. Everyone's like, I saw people online being like, that sounds like Mark Hamill. And I'm like, it does? Is it though? But it definitely does sound like fucking Mark Hamill. They show a bunch of mini games, like pull up, push up stuff, which was in the original game as well, but obviously they look a lot better here. You see the president at one stage during it. They show off the thing again, the giant fucking spider battle. You see some summons in it, Shiva and these sorts of things. And then at the end, they have this really stunning shot that'll only mean anything to anyone who's played the game before. But as I wrote up in my news post for it, like seeing that shot, that kind of like really summarized how this game, I'm really now looking forward to this, because I'm like side by side in my head, I'm comparing how that shot looked like shit in the original, obviously. PS1 game, the graphics weren't so good, and the shot right at the original trailer and like how that's played off and presented to you in the original game, it's supposed to be a very emotional moment, you know? But you're like, it looks like trash, and obviously it probably couldn't present as big of a emotional pull as they could with the graphic capabilities they had then. However, looking at this shot and being like, oh wow, like when we get to this moment in this game, like this is probably going to hit me so much harder because of course the way better graphic capabilities of this game here. And then I started thinking about all the other moments that did actually get me like quite emotionally in the game with even its graphics limitations. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be a mess. Like, like I'm like, I really hadn't thought about it before, you know, not until I kind of saw this shot and I was like, wow, okay, cool. Here we're going off here. But yeah, what do you think of this trailer?
I mean, it's a really good trailer. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks. I just wonder how much the game is going to be CG cutscene heavy.
A lot,
but
let's be honest,
a lot. So, Like 100 hours of cutscenes, 20 minutes of gameplay.
No, I don't reckon it'll be
That's
that
my
much.
concern,
But
but
there's going to be a lot of cutscenes.
Yeah, so yeah, looks cool. Cloud gets turned into a frog. That's cute. I'm sure it looks better in this than it did look in the original game. So
You just reminded me that part where he gets frogged. It's fucking awesome because they turn him into frogs, but he still has his sword attached to the back of him as a frog. If you pay attention, I was like, wow, what a nice little detail to add to it. Yeah, but I absolutely love this trailer, and my kind of interest level for this game kind of went from yes, I'm getting it, obviously, to I'm really excited right now. For the more I'm seeing, the more I'm understanding this game, the more I'm getting excited for it. So they did show off a bunch of gameplay, but honestly, the best way to kind of go over it was this. Because obviously, like everything that's been shown and explained in Japanese, but they did have the Final Fantasy Remake Twitter account do a live thread on Twitter, so that's what I'm going to kind of go for here for some little bits of information about what they showed off here. It says it started off with Final Fantasy VII producer Ishori Kitase taking the stage to explain how combat works in the game. We got a glimpse at the easy and normal modes from the in-game option menus, and the Kitase-san then showed us the new combat mode named Classic Mode. So this is the most interesting point of this whole thing, and the thing the internet was kind of like, oh, in the original Final Fantasy VII, you would wait around until the ATB gauge filled up, and then select a move, initiate your attack. With Classic Mode in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the team have recreated this same style of play. In standard modes, the ATB gauge fills up repeatedly attacking your enemy, but in classic mode, this aspect of gameplay is handled automatically. The player does not need to do anything, and the character fights automatically, charging up the ATB gauge. So anyone playing Final Fantasy VII Remake in classic mode does not have to worry about the action side of combat system, and can instead focus on selected commands, making it possible to play Final Fantasy VII Remake as if it were a classic turn menu-based RPG. So I think that's interesting. I think it's very cool that they've obviously included this to be part of it.
Yeah,
because
it's a nice touch.
I think there probably is a lot of people out there who maybe just prefer, old school JRPGs, turn-based combat.
Yeah.
They don't like playing them the way they are making them these days.
I don't want any of this hack and slash shit.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff in their game. I kind of like how they've included that because it is nice, because it's like it is a remake. There may be people who want to play it but don't really want to play it as an action game, and now they'll be able to. Having said that, I will play it as an action game because it's a remake. If I want to play the original game, I'll just play the original game. You know what I mean? Like I
mean, you can. I'm sure it'll be easy to switch between either one, depending on.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. But
I mean, if you're just trying to like spam or like level up or stuff, like farm.
But yeah,
you switch over and you're like,
that's a very good point. In fact, if it does have a if you turn on the RPG mode or whatever they call it, and it does have like a Persona like auto battle mode, that would be very fucking handy to farm, obviously. Just to be able to sit back and farm battles over and over and over for items and these sorts of things. Which way would you prefer to play it though?
I think I'll just play it action based to start off with, and then if I'm getting my ass kicked too much, switch over. Well,
I feel like as long as you've played some of the more recent things, either like Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 15, it's like you're probably going to be good.
You'll be fine. Yeah,
you'll be fine. You've experienced these sorts of action RPG games with the being able to multitask the slight menu up down system, which this game has as well. But maybe if you've never played any of those, then it's like, well, maybe this classic RPG mode is probably going to be the thing for you. After showing off combat in Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kitase-san introduced one of the elements we first saw in the Final Fantasy VII Remake TGS trailer a few days ago. The Squats minigame, and our presenter did an amazing job of playing. Finally, we got to see a closer look at one of the boss fights in the game. In this segment, we saw Cloud Teether and Aerith take on apps in the sewers of Midgar. Aerith's standard attacks a long range of pressing the triangle button uses her unique ability Tempest. Her Holy Circle ability creates an arena in the battlefield, and any spell used within the area is cast repeatedly. During the boss battle, Cloud has used the Summon Ifrit materia equipped, and because of this, Cloud's attack caused his summon gauge to eventually fill up, completely over time. With a full summon gauge, fuck me. We saw Cloud summon Ifrit, who remained on the battlefield. Summons are typically controlled by the AR, but we saw Cloud spend his ATB charges to make Ifrit use his unique abilities such as Flame Burst and Crimson Dive. Ifrit remained on the battlefield fighting until Cloud's summon gauge depleted, at which point Ifrit released his ultimate attack, Hellfire. Each character can equip up to one summon materia each, and while playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, it'll be up to the player to decide which summon to equip, depending on the battlefield and the enemy. And that's our full recap. Yeah, so in the video, it's actually quite cool. I think it looks... Because when the summon pops out, when Ifrit pops out, it's like just having this monster suddenly kind of appear on the battlefield, and it's fighting next to Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa, and, you know, just taking down the enemy. It doesn't, like, take you out or switch what's happening. Like, even for example, if we think to like the most recent kind of summony type thing is obviously Kingdom Hearts 3. Even in that, when you activate any summons, it was a video clip and then it completely changed up the battlefield, and like Sora and everyone would be in their rides or whatever, you know, like you weren't fighting alongside these things usually. They were like complete changes. So kind of like how this just brings in Ifrit, you'll bring in Shiva, you'll bring in fucking whatever. I do wonder how some of the bigger summons will actually work, like you fucking Bahamut's like the size of a mountain. How's that work? But they're going to come in and they're going to fight alongside you. So all this sounds really cool. For anyone who doesn't know, because probably doesn't really explain here, obviously, it expects you to understand the basics of Final Fantasy VII, but materia is like these they're like these orbs, basically, and it's like different weapons you have. So say you have a sword, and has like one slot in it. You can equip the like fire materia into that sword, for example. And then while you're battling, you'll fill that up. If you battle enough with it, eventually you'll learn fire. It means you can actually continue to use that spell without having to have the materia equipped. So a lot of the time in the game, you'll constantly be rotating between materia until you learn it, so you can switch out and continue to learn a new thing and these sorts of things. Some materia have effects that only take place while you have them equipped, though. So that's kind of how all that works. And everything from this sounds like it's going to work pretty much the same from the original game did. Okay, now on to, I guess, the big thing. Now, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass, the big thing. This was the most shown game at TGS. They had it was on every fucking day. It had several demos. Even on the third day when they had no demo of the show, they brought out the entire Japanese cast for Death Stranding, and they had like a Q&A with them and everything. It was very much like Death Stranding is MVP of TGS live show from PlayStation, which makes sense, I guess, to a point. But it's also quite funny how much they were showing, considering how up until this show, it was like Death Stranding, we can't show much, and then comes around to TGS and Kojima's like, nah, fuck it. You want 2 hour-long gameplay sessions? Yeah, sure, go for it. Do what you need to do. Go absolutely crazy. So first thing they did show was the first thing they showed was a briefing trailer. Now, this briefing trailer, I think, if you want the best explanation of kind of the setup for the story, this is it. I think, not to speak at mass and be like I suddenly understand everything about Death Stranding, but watching this briefing trailer, it is very easy to kind of understand the basics of the game. Very much like that article we talked about a couple of weeks ago, whenever that was. This briefing trailer kind of goes over the same sort of things that briefing trailer, that article tried to explain, which is the idea of the president's daughter, who's in this room. She's been kidnapped by the Homo sapiens, or whatever the fuck they're called. I can't remember. Demo sapiens. Being kidnapped by them. She's being held there, but she's allowed to talk to them, and she's appearing in this room as a hologram. She explains how that she tried to go on this mission, traveling across America, connecting all of the different communities and so on and so forth. And then right when she got to the end of the thing, and that's where Edge Knot City is, right at the opposite end of America, where I don't know what end you start on. East, west?
You start on the east, go to
East
the west.
Coast? Okay, yeah. So she got all the way to the West Coast, and that's where she got held captive by the bad guys of the
Troy
game.
Baker.
Yeah, Troy Baker. Yeah, exactly. That's easy. She got kidnapped by Troy Baker. Now she's asking Norman Reedus in this video clip, along with Dead Man or whatever his fucking name is.
I think it is Dead Man.
It is Dead Man, yeah. He's in the room too. So her Dead Man plus the president's daughter are trying to convince Norman Reedus' character that he should go out, go back to doing what she was doing, connecting all these cities across the journey east to west, and then when he gets all the way to the ocean's edge, the edge not city and stuff, that he should come in and rescue her. I like how as well, but the only thing about this whole opening clip, which I presume is very early in the game, obviously, like to set it up, if not the opening video clip of the game. The thing about this is like, she's like, I had several trucks, bodyguards, everything on this journey.
Yeah, see this massive convoy that I had going across the country. How about you do it by yourself?
Yeah, she's like, I did this thing. I didn't walk. I literally drove with a convoy. And then she's like, but you, Sam, you, Norman Reedus, you can walk all of that, do everything I did on your feet, and then you, one man, can come rescue me. Good job. It's like, come on. The thing with the end of the video clip is that he turns it down. It leaves on clip. That's the cliffhanger of this briefing trailer. He's like, nah, get fucked or whatever. And then they throw out lots of words. He's like, I'm not a strand anymore. What exactly does that mean? Apparently, Sam and the president's daughter have a history. They knew each other 10 years ago. She hasn't aged a day, whereas Sam has for reasons. The dog tag thing that we'd seen in lots of Death Stranding trailers, even all the way back to the first teaser, that everyone had lots of theories about how that was like some big plot point to this. It's not. It's literally handed to him in this trailer, and all it is it's a dog tag that contains a whole bunch of USB drives, basically, that he's going to be able to use to get data on, and then like take between the different communities and so on and so forth. That's all it is. Like everyone on Reddit that was going crazy over these dog tags, idiots. It's a fucking USB drive. That's all it was. No need to stress out. But yeah, so I would highly suggest watching this trailer, because I think if you're like, I have no idea what this game is about, this trailer out of all of them is going to make the most sense to you, because it's not really a trailer. It is literally just the opening, what seems like the opening video clip of the game there for you. So then, the day of TGS, the first day, Hideo Kojima gets up there and he does a day one gameplay session. So what it is kind of what we saw him tweet about before. It is a gameplay clip that he had edited together, which he was then kind of commentating on stage with the other host there. So I watched it. I have my note. These are the things I wrote down as I watched it. Of course, once again, it's in Japanese, so I'm using YouTube suggested English subtitles, which are 50-50 at best of the time. You know, sometimes it would be like, and then put the cookie cutter inside the upside down triangle, and I'd be like, no YouTube subtitles, you're making no sense. So at the start of the gameplay, though, you see you load up your body with gear, literally. So you can choose to bring X amount of things, X amount of items. You have a total amount of weight you can carry. I think it was like 160 kilos or something ridiculous like that. And it seems that you'll be able to upgrade that, of course, as the game progresses, and you'll be able to carry more items and stuff. And then you literally have to kind of balance out Sam and how he stands, you know? Like, you put it on his back, he's going to be leaning too far forward. You put a bunch of items onto his left-sided body, he's going to be leaning sideways. So it's like you kind of have to balance out all of the items that you're carrying, where you want to put them, and attach all these things so it works out well.
Yeah. Death Stranding secret puzzle game.
Well, Death Stranding, watching this gameplay, I feel like, honestly, for people who are like watching all the, you know, the crazy Mads Mikkelsen video clips and all these sorts of things, and maybe hoping for something close to that next actual gameplay. This video, this 50-minute gameplay is I swear, if you watch this and you go, this looks boring, I can almost guarantee that you're probably going to be bored from the game, because this is what the game is going to be. You know, everyone's out here being like Metal Gear Solid, Hideo Kojima. This is going to be like a, you know, and action,
stealth.
Yes, and to be fair, we'll get to it in a moment. Of course, there is some level of action in this gameplay, but from what you can gather watching this, the majority of this game is just fucking walking. to put it bluntly,
the world's most expensive walking simulator,
pretty much. To the point where also when you're picking on your gear here at the start of the game, it says it has a whole bunch of items you can 3D print and stuff, including extra boots. So you got to make sure you bring extra boots. This is relevant later in the gameplay, so he brings some extra boots. And then he picks a mission, and like you can see at the top side of the screen, it says like mission 2 or whatever. So this is obviously very early in the game. And then the first part of the gameplay that's shown off here is pretty much what we saw happen with the Jeff Keighley demo at Gamescom, except for like starting from a much further away point. Sam walks out from this underground section or whatever, bunker type thing, right? And then he gets out top, you're in the real world, opens up his map, and then I really like the way they do the mapping in this too, because the mapping isn't like you find your objective where you need to go in the game, and you click on it and the game automatically like drops a waypoint there for you. No, you find your objective where you need to go, and then you can like multi-tool select different waypoints for your way to go, and depending on then how you map out your own direction, because of course there's mountains and these sorts of things, so it's like, do you want to go around the mountain, and that could lead to more walking, or you could go over the mountain, and that's going to obviously maybe use some more stamina, but it could be faster, but it's less steps, but maybe, you know, you're weighing up how you want to take the trip yourself. So he selects the route, and I think he chooses to go up this mountain and these sorts of things. And then they cut ahead several times, because obviously you've been walking for, I don't know however long in real time, half an hour or so could take you to walk there. But what happens along the way? I honestly don't expect much. I really do expect a lot of this game to just be
emptiness.
Yeah, I think a lot of the game is just about discovery along the way, like. And I don't mean like big enemies to take down and shoot and these sorts of things. I do really think it's just a lot of like making your own fun, and then also to do with like the shared world multiplayer stuff, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, once he arrives at his location, it's this much like we saw in the Gamescom Jeff Keighley demo. It's this little like bunker type thing or whatever. It walks inside, a hologram of someone appears. I looked it up afterwards. Apparently it's some like Japanese singer or something like someone famous over there that I had no idea who it was.
So pretty much all of those are going to be cameos, you would assume, based on
since we're 2 for 2, yes, let's assume they're all famous people.
Going to be somebody.
But then also I was wondering, because like obviously he has different casts and stuff. I'm like, could he literally change out these people on different versions of the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, so Jeff Keighley's in the American one, the English speaking variant, I guess, like the Western countries type one, and then in the Japanese version, you've got these like famous Japanese singers and whatever else. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's going to change the cameos for different audiences.
He could, because they're all voiced differently. So
yeah, it's all voiced differently and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's a thing at this stage, considering how many. Just because it's Kojima, I guess. But so yeah, he goes up there, he delivers a package, he gets rewarded with what seems like some currency, maybe possibly, or some items and these sorts of things. But then it also literally kind of like a Ubisoft game, as I've talked about before when I was watching this all stuff, it literally opens up a little bit more of your map. It shows you the line connecting like east to west on your map there. It shows that you've connected another settlement. It brings a bunch of icons up on your map. What those are, I don't really know, but it's very, very much reminded me of any sort of Ubisoft game, of course, where you activate a waypoint thing, or a Assassin's Creed Tower, Far Cry fucking whatever outpost section thing or whatever. A bunch of icons appear on the map. And then when when you leave that section, then they start kind of explaining some more of the shared world multiplayer sort of stuff that this game is. And watching this gameplay demo, it really became clear to me that this, because as much as Hideo has previously talked about how this game's going to have really unique multiplayer and all this sort of stuff, and like the pissing on the mushroom thing that he kind of went on about at Gamescom, watching this gameplay thing here made it really obvious that this shared world multiplayer thing is actually probably one of the main pillars of the game, if not like the main pillar. It really does appear that it's not just a like extra thing to partake in if you so choose. It really does seem like this is how the game has been designed around like this shared universe multiplayer type thing. It feels weird to call it multiplayer because it's more like just a shared thing, but like I know it's not. But for example, the first thing you see is like when he leaves the bunker and he goes down a little bit, there's a ladder there. And it's like, oh, that was left by another player. So apparently you can leave ladders. When you put your own ladder down, you can cross it, you can turn around, you can pick it back up to continue on, or you can leave it there for other players if you think it'll be helpful. How they appear to which players they appear, I have no idea. If it's random, I do not know. I guess it would be somewhat similar to how messages appear in Dark Souls, which is the other connection I was kind of making to a lot of this stuff, is because it's like, you know, people playing Dark Souls, Bloodborne, whatever. I'm sure a million people have left notes in the one same spot, but when you play your version of the game, there's only like 10 there, you know? And I guess that's just kind of randomly chosen which notes and stuff appear to you. So
it's like a sort of passive multiplayer.
Yes,
I think
very.
That's probably like the best description I can think of. Yeah. Although, why would you leave your ladder there? Do you have unlimited ladders?
Because if players, because as weird as it sounds to say, and I don't know what this plays into fully, but a lot of the game's currency, I guess, and game's main driving force is literally likes, like thumbs up likes. So when you leave a ladder
also
behind,
subscribe,
and
ring their bell.
Yes, yeah. When you leave a ladder behind, another player can like your ladder, of course, and that will give you a like. So, and you know in the trailer where the baby gives you the thumbs up, it's because the baby's happy and it's giving you a like.
It's giving you likes.
I'm not even joking. Not even joking.
Who knew babies were such an important? Could just give you so many likes.
I went back and watched the first trailers, and I'm like, not to say all of it suddenly making sense to me, but I'm like, I'm literally seeing stuff where I'm like, oh, this is teased all along. And the baby thumbs up thing is literally like that is main currency of the game is like. Yeah, good job. The baby will give you likes.
What happens when it shows you its butt?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
No.
So then continuing on, you find it's kind of like he bumps into a container type thing out in the world, right? And other players can leave items in there that can be taken. You can leave items in there for other players, these sorts of things. Like on the right-hand side of the screen, it was showing like it had like a little Uncharted picture, you know, like a default PSN avatar, I guess, to denote that this item was left behind by insert player username here, these sorts of things. I have no idea like what you get from leaving something behind, if it's just good to feel good. But at this stage, I'm just going to assume that if someone takes your item, they can give you some likes. That's kind of what I'm assuming. So they in the demo, Sam takes some things out of these, which one of such things is like a hoverboard thing that he can like attach to behind him, that he can put all of the stuff that's on his back onto that, so it frees him up to be able to run a little bit better. And then also a little bit later in the demo, he also ditches all of his wares off that, and then he gets inside it himself and uses that like as a like skateboard thing to go downhill quite fast. So the game does show that like for all of the items and stuff in the game, there are multiple ways to use them and go about using them. So then he does eventually break into a camp section here somewhat, or do a little bit of battle. So he comes up to this section, and this is the most Metal Gear Solid section of the game, particularly the most Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain-y looking section, especially because like as Sam approaches, he does some like like sensory beam thing, and it like lights up all these items of interest and that sort of stuff, and that looked very Phantom Pain to me. He sneaks in, he activates, goes into item wheel and literally clicks on something that's called Strand, because of course it literally is just a fucking piece of rope which he uses to like stealth strangle and kill an enemy. It then breaks into
he Death Stranding.
Got him. Yeah, got him.
Yep.
Yeah, got him. Clap. So he uses that, and then I think he opens up some sort of container and gets some sort of items that I couldn't read. But then a bunch of enemies turn up. They all start chasing him. He then pulls out like a laser gun type thing. It's like I don't know what you fucking call it. It's like it shoots like 3 bolts, I guess. It looks like, I think from design it seems like it's meant for taking down fucking bulls or something shit like that. But he starts like shooting enemies with this thing. A whole bunch of enemies are coming after him. The other thing that he got out of the shared cache thing between players was an upgrade for his legs, which runs off battery power, so you have to recharge them. But this is relevant for this section, which is that he sees a truck. Sam sees a truck off in the distance, and then he chases after the truck, activates his superpowered running legs, and then he manages to catch up to the truck. He chucks the person out of that GTA 5 style, gets in this truck, drives around a little bit. The enemies all shoot it, so he has to get out because it's going to blow up or whatever. And then once again, using superpowered super speed legs, manages to run really fast and like jump over this big crevasse or whatever, and then get away. And then up ahead, he finds a electrical charging station, which is kind of standing in its general vicinity, charges his battery power back up. And the other thing that's of interest for this, much like several other things in the demo that he finds along the way, is that it has been put there by another player. It says a player's name, and has a whole like symbol on it, these sorts of things, and then that's what he's using to charge up your battery with. So then he goes on a bit further, and I think around this point too is where they go over the shoes thing, which is that, or just before this probably it actually was, which is that his shoes actually wore down from the walk so much that his feet are shown to be bleeding because he's basically been walking on.
It's a long walk.
Yeah, it's a very long walk. So
you're walking the entire country.
Yes.
I mean,
so you literally have to bring other shoes or find these like shared player cache things or chests or what have you to be able to swap shoes and stuff. And you can swap shoes. They make sure to mention that you can swap shoes and these sorts of items with other players. Whether or not, if I'm playing with, if I have someone like Ash on my friends list, and I can be like, here, you could send me a message, be like, do you have shoes? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I can just send them to you. I have no idea if that's something that you can do, but yeah, they do show that Sam sits down, has to swap out, put a fresh pair of shoes on, has a bit of a rest to regain his stamina, because you have several bars in the games, like stamina meter, health meter, whatever else, battery level for battery level items. So there's a lot going on here that I don't fully understand, obviously, especially given the demo's not in English, so it's hard to keep up with what's going on. But overall, it's starting to make a bit more sense, I'd say, surely. But then we get to the more action heavy scene of the demo, I'd say, which is that Sam then walks through this area, and several times you show him like he looks at like a mushroom or whatever on the ground and like kind of picks it and takes that and whatever else. So lots of like random item picking up stuff. What all of these items do, of course, don't really know at this stage. But then eventually comes into an area where the BB like satellite thing like pops up on your shoulder, like to show, which we've seen in trailers before, to show that BT's are around, the ghost like creatures that we've seen in trailers previously. So a bunch of those show up, and they try walking really slow through the area to not alert them, because apparently you can sneak through them as long as you're very quiet about what you're doing. Of course, for the sake of the demo, they get noticed, and then Sam starts to be getting dragged down. Like these tar hands appear from below him and like kind of start grabbing his body and these sorts of things, which they said after the fact that you can escape this, like if you button mash hard enough and whatever else, you will be able to escape these sorts of things throughout the game.
If you're good.
If you're good. It's not like end of the world type of thing. But for the sake of the demo, of course, not what happens. Sam gets dragged down and it kind of goes to this first person's perspective of like, you're getting dragged to the upside down world or whatever the hell's going on here. And then he comes out on the other side and it's this like, you're in like a city somewhere, a cityscape somewhere, and tars fucking everywhere. There's some items floating around like buildings, trucks, these sorts of things. And a massive monster, like not massive, like a medium-sized monster, I guess, a beast sort of thing appeared that's made out of tar as well. And this is what appears to be either a boss or a mini boss. I think from the way the Google Translate said that the Google Translate on my screen had Hideo say that he says that this isn't even a boss or something like that. So in my mind, I guess this is what you consider like a high level enemy or at least a mini boss or something like that, because it certainly didn't go down easy. So you do battle with this thing by throwing they throw like a bunch of canisters and these sorts of things at it to explode. A lot of these things, it appears, are being made by stuff you've picked up through the environment or stuff that you've already chosen to bring with you when you leave your base at the very start of the game, because right at the start of the demo he did bring a thing of grenades with him, and that's kind of what we're using here. But then it seems you'll be able to also pick up random items through the environments and then use that to build things, because then Hideo talks about the fact that you can use your own piss to make items to like fucking piss bombs to throw at this monster if that's all you kind of had. If that was your last resort, then you can throw piss. I think he also said something about you can use your own blood. If you've got literally nothing else, you can use your own blood to make into a grenade to throw at this thing. But of course, if you use your own blood, then you're going to be doing damage to yourself at the same time. But that is a possibility. So they kind of cut. They don't show the full battle. They kind of cut at some stage because it seems to go for a decent length of time, I guess. He's jumping around or whatever. It's the most action heavy segment though. This boss battle, like, you know, he's double jumping out of the way, jumping on top of these cars, like making sure not to get hit by the thing. It does seem like a boss battle of sorts. And then he calls for help from online players. Now, how exactly this works, what the dealio is here, if it's actually players behind controllers doing this, I'm very doubtful. It seems like it's kind of like a ghost version of online players, if you know what I mean. Like it's it's not like you're actually called in and doing it, because what happens is a bunch of quote unquote players, which are other versions of Sam, obviously, they appear and they're just kind of ghostly white figures, and they come in and they throw a bunch of items at you, so which I presume is like random, or if players are actually controlling it behind controllers, then I guess you could choose what to throw at the person to help them with, I guess. I don't know, but either way you get to chucked a bunch of stuff, including something that's some sort of gun or pistol, which picks up, is like, oh, that's handy. And then these ghostly figures also start doing tiny bits of damage to the monster as well and helping it. And between this calling for help segment and then some of the other, like the shared world, what do you call it? Passive multiplayer. Yeah, passive multiplayer stuff. All of this to me just screams like Hideo was mostly influenced by Souls games for this section of the game. Like this multiplayer type stuff. It's all very Souls-like. So then he kills the boss, or mini boss, whatever it is. Hip hip hooray. The fucking ghost Sams are like, yay, they cheer. You're like, cool, thank you very much. Goes off. Then he finds a bike, literally just kind of wanders around a little bit more, literally just finds a bike sitting out in the road. And by bike, I mean like a motorbike. Finds a motorbike just sitting there. He says that it's been delivered by another player. Shrug, somehow. Anyway, gets onto the bike, takes off driving it around, explains that then Hideo at this time in the translate was saying stuff about how some players may just walk, some players may like to ride bikes, some players may, you know, like basically summing up how there's many different ways to get yourself around the world, I guess, depending on the way you want to play the game and these sorts of things. He then crosses a bridge, like a fairly big bridge that's been built across this lake or whatever. And the bridge, once again, has been placed there by another player. How they built a bridge, I don't know. Go back, make sure you click like, subscribe, and ring the bell on the bridge, I guess. And then he stops at It stops at this hot springs at some time along the way here as well. Literally this, mud hot springs thing. Sam strips down, gets into the hot springs with the BB, and sings a song to it to soothe it, which the BB then gives you likes for.
Yeah.
Because reasons.
Because currency.
Yeah, and also being in the hot bath and these sorts of things get your stamina and these sorts of things back up because you're relaxing. And then also when you leave the hot springs, you can then like open up a menu and like open up a sign and leave a like hot springs sign here so other players can see it from afar and be like, oh, there's a hot springs over there. Or like other signs saying in the menu are like danger, all these once again, remind me obviously a lot of Dark Souls and the ability to just leave like preset like danger ahead or like treasure lies here or, these sorts of things from the Souls-like games. And then he basically returns to base, and that's where the day 1 demo ended. Now, the day 2 demo, I'm not going to spend much time on because there's a lot less to it, but IGN had a write-up here I'll quickly go over. The demo starts with, because all of this demo takes place within the bunker. It's just showing off this section of the bunker. It's less interesting than what we was just covering, which is what you'll be doing, primarily. It says demo starts off.
You mean you won't be hanging out in the bunker?
Well, as much as I need to get some trophies. The demo starts off with Kojima leading the audience through some basic motions. We as the players aren't actually controlling Sam in this moment. We're more of a disembodied camera that Sam is aware of. In classic fourth wall breaking Kojima style. The camera pans down to linger on Sam's crotch, and Sam quickly shields his crotch from sight in what might be a nod to Metal Gear Solid, where a similar animation happens if a player's camera lingers on Meryl's body.
I think Kojima's too concerned about people wanting to see Norman Reedus' penis.
I don't know. It's stare at Sam's junk for too long and he'll punch the camera. I personally, out of all the stuff from the demo, this is the one section where I was like, this is the most weird, concerning, only because, and lots of people point this out, and I think it's very justifiably, none of this shit happened for Quiet in Phantom Pain. You know what I mean? Quiet is literally a character who's basically naked for story reasons. And if you zoomed in on her, did she ever like punch fucking Snake in the face?
But she doesn't have a penis.
No, well, yeah.
That we know of.
I don't think that's the point, but also it's like, I know you could be like, well, why is he punching the camera? It's very like homophobic type, you know what I mean? Like behavior. It's weird.
I wouldn't automatically jump to homophobic, but
well, I think if you're not having, I think it's like it's a stereotype, like the whole joke of stare at a guy's dick and they'll punch you in the face. It's a stereotype, especially in a lot of old comedies, schoolyard behavior, these sorts of things. Lots of jokes about like, oh, you're staring at my dick, punch in the face, whatever else. After all the Quiet stuff and Phantom Pain as well, I was like, this is quite odd that you choose to include this as part of the game. Nonetheless, it also says, the IGN article also says, the camera is apparently BB, the weird baby in a jar that Sam carries around in every bit of Death Stranding footage we've seen so far. So this basically means that Sam punches a baby. Very good. Sam...
I mean, it's not a real baby. Haven't we already established that?
Sam is covered in filth, one assumes from mission. So Kojima then guides Sam over to the bathroom mirror where he washes Sam's face clean. Sam is able to blow a raspberry into the mirror, which he also takes selfies for funny images. The player can also turn Sam around in the mirror to check out what his hair looks like. The player can use the toilet in Sam's room, although any adult-only imagery is hidden behind an ad for Ride with Norman Reedus, an AMC travel show starring Reedus himself.
I mean, prop.
Yeah.
That's a good...
Yeah. Sam's room is at least one location you can customize a multitude of features, including Sam's look. The demo first starts with Sam's weapon loadout, but quickly moves to his backpack. The backpack appears to work much like the Resident Evil grid system, where you're meant to account for the physical space that each item takes up, playing a careful game of Tetris with differently shaped items. Sam attaches a couple of brown compartments, an envelope, and some sort of energy pack. Kojima then moves us onto Sam's wardrobe. We get a good look at the goggles and sunglasses that Sam can wear, both of which have their own color, can have their color change. Kojima ends up a white and brown gold mix for Sam's glasses and makes Sam's hat bright red. Sam's wardrobe isn't the only thing you can color. Sam will also be able to customize the color of the walls in his room with a fairly large selection of colors, just like in Metal Gear Solid 5. Kojima's favorite music will also be play a role in setting the mood. Kojima showed off a music playlist that Sam can turn on in his room, including artists like Low Raw, Silent Poets, and Jen Hoshino. Sam can also blitz through a 6-pack of beers he's got sitting on the table. It wasn't confirmed, but it appears that Monster Energy may be also something Sam can drink. Demo closes with a brief bit of footage of Sam traversing Death Stranding's overworld and finally relaxing at a hot spring with BB. Other thing of note there that I forgot to mention from the original demo is the whole Monster Energy drink thing. There's a section in the original demo where they explain how rivers and these sorts of things work, and then if there's no symbol in water, it means that you're safe to walk through it. Orange is like it'll use up some of your stamina as you're walking through it, and then a red section in a river means that you will get washed away and you'll lose some of what you're carrying, and you'll have to kind of collect it. But as they do this part in the demo and Sam steps into the red section, he gets washed down the river. One of his sections falls off, but also he has a magic flask on his body at the time, which as he's washed through the river, fills up. And then when he gets out of the water, he drinks it because the magic flask has turned the river water into Monster Energy drink, which Sam then drinks the Monster Energy drink to refill his stamina.
Don't you know that's how they make Monster Energy drink?
From magical rivers, yeah.
I mean, the more we talk about this game, the more you were right when you said Hideo Kojima's just putting everything he likes into this game.
Yes!
Put Monster Energy drink, putting ads for Ride, whatever the show with Norman Reedus is. He's putting in beers, he's got these segments where they play different songs when you're walking towards towns and stuff. He's just putting everything he likes into the game. It's crazy.
You can be like, but he's never tweeted about Monster Energy drink talent. Yes, he has. Go scroll through his Twitter account, and a couple months ago or a month or two ago, he literally just tweeted out a picture of him, or it was a month ago when he was come back from wherever, Gamescom, and he was hard back at work, and it was a picture of a fucking 6-pack of Monster Energy drink. They're all clues.
It's all clues. Everything is clues.
It's all connected.
You just have to go, every single person who's been in his Twitter feed for the last, every photo, they're in the game.
100%. Keanu Reeves is in this game.
Yeah.
When that happened,
every single movie poster thing in the game.
Literally all of them. Any food or drink he's had on his Twitter feed, in the game.
In the game.
Any picture he's taken of his MP3 player with songs playing on it, in the game.
I mean, we said it day dot when it was first announced that everything was part of the game from here on out. Yep. And we're right. It's true.
It's what the Death Stranding is. Kojima's mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Death Stranding, TGS. Do you have any thoughts? It's hard to talk about, hard to discuss, cover. Man. It's a lot.
I just wanted to come out so we can just see what it actually is.
How about this? After this,
it is an interesting question. Do you think it's going to play better day one, or do you think it's going to be better a month down the line with this passive multiplayer element to it? Is it going to be easier to play in a month because everybody's drop shit?
Yes, I think they're different experiences, and there's benefits to playing day one. Well, if you play day one, you're getting a different experience to playing.
Because you'll be getting more likes and shit for stuff that you drop, probably.
Probably, yes.
Whereas if you play it a month away, then you're probably not
getting all of this stuff too, this whole like system and the multiplayer thing and whatever else. He made sure to be I do have a really good, single player story here that has I can't remember the direct quote from the last day, but during that last interview thing, he was going on about how he reckons the ending of the game's like amazing and like it's going to be a really emotional journey for players and all this sorts of stuff. But of course, what they showed off at TGS, as much as you'd be like, they showed a lot, it's Kojima, and what we're seeing here is we saw nothing really. We saw nothing that was story based or anything like that. You know, a lot of what was just showing was obviously your basic gameplay sort of stuff, but nothing that was story related or mind blowing. The most story related thing they released was that trailer, which shows what is presumably the opening of the game anyway, so not the end of the world, which he was also warning people not to watch if they're afraid of spoilers. Who the fuck's afraid of spoilers in this goddamn fucking game? No one understands the game.
I think he's just being polite, you know?
I'm really afraid of spoilers for a game I don't understand, said nobody ever.
I'm probably there's some people who said.
Well, yeah, so watching the briefing trailer, watching the TGS gameplay, I think that I have a much better understanding of the overall basic story, and then also what my kind of moment to moment gameplay is going to look like. And I can say that with all of this, I'm more interested now than I was previously, because the game actually looks like it could potentially be a rather just somewhat chill open world going around exploring thing, which kind of intrigues me. Does it interest you less or more with all of this though?
I think more. I'm really excited to play this futuristic FedEx game.
Yeah. I mean, it fucking is. Everyone made jokes like, oh, it's a mailman game. It is.
Kind of, yeah.
It is literally the mailman game.
I mean, it's like a cross between a walking simulator and like a dating sim, I guess. You keep giving gifts to people until they like you. And then the world opens up. Yeah, so.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's creating a new genre. He's just mashed in every single genre into one thing.
I don't know why it kept being like, oh, it's a new genre. It's called Strand game. Fucking just call it the I've created the first mail delivery game, Kojima. That's all you had to say. I've created the world's first high intense mail delivery sim.
Or just delivery game. Deliver stuff to other players.
Yeah.
You deliver stuff to AI.
Yeah. Get your Strand.
Just delivering stuff.
Get your Strand system shit out of here. Everyone would understand. Everyone would understand it a lot easier if you just got FedEx to sponsor this shit.
I mean, hasn't shown it yet. Doesn't mean it's not in the game.
That's very true.
Has he posted about FedEx in the last 12 months?
Someone go scan the
2 years.
Yeah, someone go scan the Twitter feed. All right. Hey everybody, this is your ETC for episode 128. In case you didn't know, Borderlands 3 is out this week, of course, or last week actually. And the trophies are very straightforward. I haven't been playing the game, not playing the game, unfortunately, so I can't really give you too many tips. But what I can say is that I've looked at the trophy list, I've looked at the fact that I got the platinum for the first game, and I can tell you that this game looks as easy, if not easier, potentially, than the other Borderlands game. So if you have a Borderlands Plat, then this platinum looks like it'll be just about as easy as every other Borderlands platinum. Groundhog Day, Like Father, Like Son is out today of release, the PSVR game, and somebody on PSN profiles already has the platinum, so let's assume that the platinum for this game is not going to be very hard. The trophies are all very specific events though, so it's hard to tell how much of this will be missable, if at all missable, because they're all very specific events, and although some trophies say this character does this thing and then this character does the opposite of said thing, the game is literally about Groundhog Day, which means that potentially those trophies will just come from playing the game anyway, because you're literally going to be repeating things. I do wonder though if the game has any sort of chapter select and these sorts of things. They'll make it a lot easier if you do miss some things. That will be handy. Go back through trophy guide once the game's out, of course, be able to find the things you've missed. If not, I presume that this game isn't very long, so even if you do miss some things and need to go play it again, I would say that's still probably going to be a very easy platinum. And again, once I said, someone's already got the platinum pre-release, so let's just assume it's probably very easy. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered has the exact same trophy list that it had in the original version. A little bit annoying here because I would have preferred some sort of change, some sort of update. I do prefer when these re-releases, remakes, re-thingamajigs have something new to them to at least get those people who platinumed the first one, who played the first game, something new to look at, something new to do here. But this is what we're dealing with. The plat can be a massive grind. And as a JRPG, of course, it's going to be quite time consuming. But the handy thing is, if you're diving into this day one and you want your tips, you want your guides, it's the exact same list. So just look up a trophy guide for the PS3 version of the game. Megaquarium is apparently coming to PS4. The trophy list for this went up. I had no idea this was coming to consoles, but I did review this on PC when it originally released, and it is a very straightforward platinum here. So it's basically just complete all objectives in all 10 levels in the game, and with guides available for the PC version of the game, it means that you're just going to be able to go in and breeze through these levels following guides to do what you need to do to succeed for all the objectives. I don't think it's particularly hard if you've played any sort of management sim game, tycoon game type thing before, because this is what this is. It's a aquarium sim game. I do wonder how well the controls will work on a PS4 version for this type of game though, but either way, the platinum would be fairly easy. And then the last one for this week is Castle Crashers has put its platinum up. Castle Crashers is coming over to PS4 and different versions as well, and this time it has a platinum. The original release of this on PS3 did not have a platinum, and the original release also had a trophy related to beating the game on insane difficulty. This version of the trophy list does not have that, so that means that this new list is better and easier because it's got a platinum now. The game is super fun. Absolutely love it. If you never played it back in the day, I would highly suggest checking it out. It is more fun with friends, and it'll also make the trophies a lot easier. But with that said, the platinum isn't super hard. It's just probably going to be a little bit of a grind, a little bit of time consuming if you're doing it by yourself. Probably a lot easier with a guide to tell you what things to tackle first, where things you should be doing, but you're probably going to play through the game a couple times over before you platinum it. Either way, but the game's super fun, and as I said, if you have friends, you won't mind doing that anyway. Thank you for joining us this week on Platinum Explosion. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVALADIL. You can follow Ash on Twitter, Ashley Holby, ASHLEYHOBLEY. You can follow this show on Twitter at Plat Podcasts. You can help out the show by giving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, or simply tweet at any of the above accounts and let us know how much you liked the show. Join our Discord. Ask us questions, trophy tips, anything else. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord. And this is, of course, a product of the Explosion Network, which you can find many more shows, articles, news, reviews at ExplosionNetwork.com. You can follow Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. And until next week, remember that every trophy counts.